Appetite suppression, a massive change with my 100-pound Zepbound weight loss. Hi, beautiful friends. I've lost over 100 pounds the last, it still feels so crazy to say, by the way, over the last 23, almost 24 months of taking Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound because of the shortages. I'm currently on Zepbound 15 milligrams, and fingers crossed that when Cagrilintide comes out with Novo Nordisk, hopefully it will get FDA approved, that I will be one of the first people in line, hopefully, to be on that. And on today's episode, I want to talk about appetite suppression. I've had a massive change recently in the last month with my Zepbound appetite suppression, and I want to encourage you with 6 tips that I have today talking about those. Linked down in the description link, I'm going to have a ton of resources for you, including my free Zepbound checklist, my Zepbound meal plan, and my free Zepbound side effects tracker. It's a printable that I've used over on countessofshopping.com, my free website for all things to help encourage you on your Zepbound or Mounjaro or GLP-1 journey. We don't want to exclude our semaglutide friends and our WEGOVY and Ozempic friends too. So let's dive in. What has happened for me is we got a new rescue recently. She's a 9-month-old now, currently 9-month-old Great Pyrenees, and I'm walking 2 to 5 miles per day. That's a lot. I had, previous to getting her a month ago now, had been walking 6 miles once a week, and then the rest of the time 1 or 2 miles per day. It is now increased that I'm walking 4, 5, 6 miles per day every day. It's a lot because I'm trying to give the dogs exercise, Mr. Freddie and our dog Wilma. And as a result of this exercise shift, my appetite suppression is, I am hungry, honey. I'm hungry, hungry, hungry. And so I wanted to share with you guys, if you're having weird appetite suppression, like you're not having appetite suppression, it may be because you're working out more. And that didn't link to me until someone in my free encouragement group, and I'll link that down in the description link below, that free resource, where someone was like, oh, I had the same thing. When I started working out heavily, I got hungry, hungry, hungry. My hunger jacked through the roof. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. I'm expelling hundreds of calories walking the dogs. Of course I'm gonna need something else to make me feel fuller. And so I wanted to share on this video about my appetite suppression of increasing, tip number 1, increasing my protein. Really, I had been doing a while ago 100 to 125 grams of protein per day. That's not on day 1 and day 2, but because of appetite suppression with my injection. But the other days, definitely hitting 100 to 125 grams. And now my goal is 125 to 150 grams of protein per day. Now, some of you will say, you can't have in a given sitting that much. It's too much and your body won't absorb it. There has been several scientific studies. I really like I think his name's Higher Up Wellness. He's talked about why you can actually have a lot of protein in a given sitting. Now, our bodies are all different. I gotta make sure I give this caveat. I'm not a healthcare provider. Hopefully this video will punt you to talk to your healthcare provider. I'm not a dietitian. Hopefully this video will punt you to talk to the experts. It will help open up conversations, but this is my experience, strength, and hope. So take what you want, leave the rest, but upping my protein through a couple of different ways has worked really well for me to help with this appetite suppression, because protein makes us stay fuller longer. But the satiety of protein is amazing. And I have done, and I've tested so much, and I have the data for myself to prove feeling that strong appetite suppression and feeling crazy hungry. One other caveat is I don't want to run away from hunger, right? Like with Zepbound or any GLP-1 medication, that's not my goal. Our bodies are naturally supposed to feel hungry. And so I do welcome that hunger feeling in a given day. I want to feel that because as human beings, squishing that and stuffing that down, I don't think for me is healthy. Like that's not my goal. Maybe that's your goal, but that's not my goal. My goal is to feel the hunger, but not to be like, I also want to feel that fullness of having my appetite suppressed. So in between my meals, I'm not like jonesing and pining for something else to eat, which I have been recently been. And it's because I've been moving so much. I mean, so much. The calories I'm expending and walking and burning, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so for me, testing different proteins to find what I love, because if we don't love it, we're not going to do it long term. The drudgery will appear, and eventually it will just, for me, I will stop doing it. So finding things I love, because that will make it a lifestyle change, and that will also make it enjoyable. I want this weight loss process to be enjoyable. And it has been. Doing cool things like horseback riding. I couldn't fit on a horse for decades because I was morbidly obese. Wearing things like skirts and dresses and tights and pants, like it's just all a whole new world. And so finding proteins like protein shakes, protein bars. I've kissed a lot of frogs in that department. I have my tried and trues that I love. Things like protein pretzels. I enjoy those quite a bit. Protein bars, I've recently gotten on this huge, and I'll do it in another video talking about protein bars that I love, that have really been very beneficial for keeping my appetite fuller longer. And of course, real food. Real food, real protein, and finding what real protein. I used to detest chicken because when I was younger and when I was put on diets as a kid, it was always chicken and salmon. I still can't do salmon. I still can't do it because that was like South Beach diet back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Nope, can't do that. But I can do chicken, and so I found ways to really enjoy chicken actually that I can get in that lower calorie, high protein that are delicious. So tip one, appetite suppression for me, increasing my protein from 125 grams per day to 150 grams per day. Am I perfect every day? No, but certainly that's my goal and that's what I'm trying for, and that's been really helping. Number two, changing my beverages. I drinking more water basically. I have a clear glass. I've moved into the BrewMates. I'm obsessed with BrewMates. This is what they look like. You can flip them upside down and they don't spill. But I've also gotten glass Sip Sip Hooray ones recently that I love. They're 40 ounces. And so I've been having my electrolytes spaced. I'll do a stick of them, a third, a third, a third. And so that has been awesome. Upping my water game really has been so helpful for me. I gotta go to the bathroom a bunch, making my legs look cuter because I gotta walk so much to the restroom. But having more beverages has helped with the appetite suppression. I feel fuller longer because I'm drinking my water and having electrolytes, and that's been really, really helpful and beneficial for me. Number three, my nutrients. You guys know I am completely obsessed with Gem Bites. I absolutely love their products by eating my nutrients and making sure. I had a blood panel done fairly recently, and it was excellent. You know why it was excellent for me? Because Gem Bites. It has in there prebiotics. It has in there probiotics. I know I'm getting my nutrients when I am eating, and that is helping with my appetite suppression by having the Gem Bites. And so I highly recommend, if you don't have something daily that you're enjoying, go to Gem Bites, use dailygem.com/queen, use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN, to get the extra 50% off of the gem. This is what they look like in terms of, like, there's pumpkin seeds. It's real food. It tastes gingery and citrusy. I love the flavor of them. They're really good to me. Look. There's the pumpkin seed. It's so good. I cannot wait to eat. I'm not gonna eat it right now. I know some of you guys, the sound of people eating drives you crazy. I am one of those people. And so I'm like, ooh, we'll take the sound off of eating with these. But it has in there things like quinoa B vitamins, stone fruit and dates, black pepper, chickpeas, vitamin K2, like stuff like that. But I love them because of the prebiotics and probiotics. I no longer take separately prebiotics and probiotics because of my daily Gem Bites. They're really good. And so having that nutrient piece, that's tip number three for my appetite suppression, big difference with Gem Bites because they're more bioavailable. And with the phytonutrients, my body's ability to absorb them, I highly recommend. Highly recommend. Obviously, before taking any supplement, talk to your own doctor. But for me, these are a daily thing. They do have other ones for calming and energy and things like that too in bite format that are so fun. And if you're coming to Vegas for our Vegas meetup, everybody's going to be getting some surprises from Gem. I cannot wait to see you guys at our Vegas meetup too. But making sure I'm having my nutrients is the foundation for my appetite suppression, right? Like if having that blood panel to make sure my nutrients were good, and they wouldn't have been good if in my humble opinion, if it hadn't been for Gem Bites. So I highly recommend making sure you're having nutrients and Gem Bites for those too. Because I'm not gonna eat my way through having all the nutrients I'm supposed to have in a given day, which is why I need the supplement of it. Number four, in terms of appetite suppression, this one sounds ding dong dingy. But it's that time of the month. When my hormones are shifting, I am not going to have as much appetite suppression. And at nighttime, which for me usually is a big trigger, like being like, okay, this is because I'm near my cycle. And so knowing, and because I track on my phone when that is, so helpful. Maybe you're menopausal or you're a gentleman watching this. And so that's not applicable for you, but having those hormone changes for me and staying on top of that with my cycle, huge difference between knowing with the appetite suppression and being a little bit hungrier or wanting more snack type foods. Number 5, sleep. When I don't sleep, I don't have as much appetite suppression. Being intentional about my bedtime and sleep. I take naps now. I love naps. I love that I have the ability to take naps. It's fantastic. The count and I like fight over when nap time is. It's the cat's meow. Really, I do. I'm making sure I'm getting proper sleep because this weight loss journey is a stressor on the body. It is a stressor on the body. To go from this to that, that's a stressor on the body. And so for me, getting adequate sleep, but also just in general, Zepbound fatigue, hello, it's a real thing. I've talked about this on other videos, or Mounjaro fatigue, and similar with WEGOVY and Ozempic. It's real. And so if you are tired, I want to encourage you, if you have the ability to rest, it may be different than what rest used to look like. And so it does look different than what my life was even a year ago. Like being on Zepbound 15 milligrams is a different ball game than being on Zepbound 5 milligrams. It's different. And so with those differences, I've had to embrace the new lifestyle changes. And I don't know if naps will always be a part of my life, but probably like really just resting because I'm moving so much. Again, going back to walking that much. Y'all, I'm tired. And if I'm tired, sometimes I don't make the best nutrition choices, which can stall my weight loss. And so being super intentional about that, sleeping and making sure I'm not exhausted all the time has been a conscious choice that I've had to move some things around with, because if you're like me, I'm high cadence, I'm high rhythm, I'm like full throttle, but then to the point of where I'm not, and I'm like, I just need to rest. It's been helpful with my Oura Ring to also see. It tells me my body's cues. I've been testing the Google Pixel. I'll have my final results. I've been testing now for what, 2 months? I took a little pause there for a week or so to stop with the Google Pixel, and I'm back to tracking it. And it's been quite interesting seeing the difference with the Oura Ring versus the Google Pixel Ring versus the Fitbit 4. So I have a hold, anyways, more on that, but it's been interesting to see my sleep in conjunction to the data. The biggest thing I want to encourage you with that is if you're tired, you may be like me and not make great food choices or as great food choices. So making sure I'm getting my sleep, making sure I'm getting my little rest, I'm getting that snoozy woozy time, super, super important too. Next, appetite suppression. It's the holiday season when I'm filming this right now. There's lots of extra sugar around and other nibbles that are delicious that I only get once a year. And so I have allowed and given myself permission. I'm going to have some of my stuff. I'm not going to eat all of it, but I'm going to have and enjoy the holidays. And so because I'm having more sugary stuff, that is making me hungrier too. I know for a fact it's not just all the walking. We're having, like last night we wanted to go out for ice cream. And they had an eggnog ice cream. It was gross, by the way. It was disgusting. And so I didn't end up eating that. I ended up eating some other ice cream instead. But like, I'm going to have that. And so that's just for this holiday season. I know once the holiday season's over, I'll get back on being super, super clean eating. It's just for now, I very much want to enjoy that, but that is affecting my appetite suppression. And for me, that's where I need to be honest that my food choices are not helping my appetite suppression because I'm having more sugar. And for me, more sugar makes me hungrier. It makes me, more sugar begets more sugar. And so once I start that, I'm like, like I'm fully aware of what's going on with that. And so for the next few days, I'm chilling out on the sugar. I'm chilling out on the sugar. I'm like, I had the ice cream last night, and now today I'm really not having any sugar at all. No little bites, no little desserts, no little treats. The treat is I get to refill my water. That's a glorious treat. And I may have a Diet Dr. Pepper later today. That's a huge, oh my God, I'm so excited. My DDP, Diet Dr. Pepper. And so for me, recognizing some of these things too, that the sugar choice is not the best one, but also it is the best one. It's once a year for me. And I'm going to enjoy some of these little things. But also during the holiday season, I'm going to also make sure I have things like protein, picking out for our holiday menu. For me, I celebrate Christmas. Being out for that holiday menu, Things that are helpful along like lean proteins, like seafood. I've been getting a ton of seafood. I ended up ordering a turkey. I've never done turkey on Christmas. And so this year we are. And so I'm excited about, we're getting a ham also. And so being super, super intentional and conscious about some of the choices on Christmas Eve too for me and Christmas that are healthier choices help aid in that appetite suppression. It does not have to be perfect. For me, I do not have to be perfect all the time with my food choices. But making and leaning into healthier food choices most of the time makes such a big difference. We know that. Like some of the stuff we know. We know. I feel like obese people, morbidly obese people, I could have written a nutrition book on it. You know what I mean? Like where some of the stuff they just say, I'm like, I know, I've been to 10 million food things. And now that I have the ability to make all of these awesome, like to be like a quote normal person, although there's no such thing as normal, that's a dishwasher setting. But to make some of these normal food, like what normal people do with food, it's fascinating to me. It's this whole thing is fascinating to be like, oh, that's what full feels like, and push my plate away. Oh, I'm not going to eat all this when we're out to eat at a restaurant. Let me box that up and have that for tomorrow's leftovers. I always leave a restaurant now with a box. I'm trying to think. I don't like using superlatives, but that's true. I don't leave restaurants now without a box. Um, it makes a big difference. So my sweet friends, I hope that these appetite suppression tips help to enhance your appetite suppression. The protein for me is like the biggest ball of wax of being super testing and trying. It's like Goldilocks, finding a bed to sleep in that makes sense for you. Oh, that one's too firm. That one's not firm enough. Be Goldilocks with your protein to find proteins you love and enjoy. And make sure you go ahead and snag also Gem Bites. Go to dailygem.com/queen, QUEEN. Use that code to get 50% off your first month. I'll also link the hyperlink down in the description link below too. If you don't feel like typing it in, you want to like click the button, it will be in the description link below too, because appetite suppression is awesome. And also recognizing I'm not going to have that all the time too. It's healthy for me to feel hunger. And when I do feel hunger, being like, that's okay. Before I used to want to push that away. And now being like, okay, I'm kind of bringing it on just a little bit. And that is helping me so much in my weight loss journey. So I hope it helps you too. Our accountability question, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down in the comments below. And our emoji of the day is going to be a blazer or a suit because I love this. This is from Ann Taylor. I think it's the cutest little blazer. I'm kind of obsessed. So, and emoji of the day helps me to get to know you better because I truly do care. Seeing your name pop up over and over will help me to get to know who you are. Special thank you to Deborah on our YouTube community for did super thanks for $5. That was so kind, Deborah. Thank you so much. I'm like humbled and honored. It was really nice. And our 5 community spotlight that YouTube picks, I don't pick these, but YouTube picks, is Mindy, Thalma, Angela, Dawn, Gammy. Thanks, friends. Tomorrow, I'm sure it will be different. So if you're like, where's my name? There's so many more. There's so many more. That's just who YouTube picks out. So I wanted to acknowledge those people too. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. You guys are the best. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I hope your health journey has been going amazing. You're not alone. Let's continue the conversation over in my free encouragement group. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Mwah! Love you. See you tomorrow.